Have you ever felt like anxiety was running your mind, trapping you in a loop of endless what-ifs? Maybe it's stress from work, worries about loved ones, or just a vague sense of unease, persistent and unshakable. In today's world, anxiety has become an unwelcome companion, quietly slipping into our minds and stealing our peace. But what if I told you, you can break free from anxiety's grip? That over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha offered us a way out of this maze, not by denying anxiety, but by deeply understanding its true nature. This podcast episode is a journey, not to a place without anxiety, but to a way of life where you can live with anxiety without being ruled by it. Through breath, mindfulness, compassion, and detachment, you'll discover something remarkable. Peace isn't somewhere far away, it's already within you, waiting for you to return. Anxiety does not arise from the external world, it comes from within our own minds. This is one of the profound truths the Buddha taught. In the Four Noble Truths, the very foundation of Buddhist teachings, he revealed that suffering, including anxiety, has a cause. And if we understand that cause, we can free ourselves from it. So what is the cause? Attachment. We cling to people, possessions, emotions, and thoughts. When we grasp tightly to a relationship, a goal, or even our identity, we live in fear of losing it. And when life doesn't match our expectations, anxiety quickly appears. Yet, life is inherently impermanent. Everything changes: love, work, emotions, even thoughts come and go like water flowing in a stream. But the mind insists on control, trying to hold on to what feels good and push away what feels uncomfortable. It is this rejection of impermanence that creates suffering. When you see this clearly, anxiety is no longer an enemy, it becomes a signal from a mind that hasn't yet learned to live peacefully with the truth of life. One of the most common mistakes when facing anxiety is trying to get rid of it. We fight anxiety, push it away, deny its presence. But this only makes it stronger. It's like trying to force a dark cloud to disappear. The harder you push, the more wind you stir. The Buddha taught, instead of resisting, observe. Observation doesn't mean indifference. It is an act of mindfulness and presence. When an anxious thought arises, imagine it as a cloud drifting across the sky of your mind. You don't need to hold on to it, nor do you need to chase it away, just notice it, acknowledge it, and let it pass. In that moment, something powerful happens. When you stop reacting, anxiety loses its grip. You are no longer swept away, you become the witness. And that single shift, from being controlled to being the observer, begins the path to liberation. Always remember, you are the sky, not the clouds. Anxiety may pass through, but your clear, calm mind is always there. When anxiety arises, our minds often drift into the future, imagining what might happen, full of what-ifs. But the present, the moment you're actually living, is always peaceful. The problem isn't in the present, but in the mind that has left it. The Buddha taught that the breath is the path back to the present. When you pay attention to each inhale, each exhale, you're bringing your mind back to your body, and escaping the spiral of anxious thoughts pulling you away. The breath is always there, yet few realize its healing power. Just pause, take a deep breath in, exhale gently, and become aware, I am breathing. That awareness creates an inner space. In that space, you are no longer a victim of anxiety. You have a choice. You have freedom. Wherever you are, in a meeting, on a crowded street, or alone, your breath is your silent companion, guiding you back to inner peace. When anxiety arises, the first thing we often do is blame ourselves. We think, why am I so weak? I shouldn't feel this way. There's something wrong with me. But here's the truth, it's the judgment, not the anxiety, that poisons us. The Buddha taught that compassion, first and foremost, must begin with ourselves. Instead of self-criticism, say to yourself, I'm feeling anxious, and that's completely human. Accepting the emotion is not surrender, it is giving yourself space to heal. Compassion is not just an attitude, it's a deep inner power. It softens the heart and calms the mind. When you are gentle with yourself, anxiety is no longer a monster to fear, it becomes part of the human experience that can be embraced and transformed. You can practice this right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and silently say, I allow myself to feel this. I do not judge myself. I am learning to love myself. Even in anxiety. In moments when anxiety peaks, it can feel like it will last forever. Your heart races. Your breath shortens. Your mind spins with negative thoughts. But what we often forget, and what the Buddha emphasized, is that everything is impermanent. No emotion lasts forever. Just as rain eventually stops and night gives way to dawn, anxiety is merely a passing wave in the ocean of your mind. It's not the presence of anxiety that causes suffering, it's the belief that it will stay. When you remember this too shall pass, you create space between yourself and the feeling. You are no longer swept away by the storm, but can watch it from the shore. That awareness anchors you, like a mountain unmoved by the wind. Repeat this when anxiety arises, everything changes. I am experiencing this feeling, but it does not define me. It will pass, just like everything else has passed. Meditation doesn't only happen when you sit quietly with your eyes closed. Mindfulness isn't reserved for peaceful mornings or special moments. In truth, mindfulness is a way of living, and every moment in your day can become a chance to return to your inner stillness. When you walk, pay attention to each step. When you wash the dishes, feel the cool water on your hands. When you speak, truly listen. These small acts, when done with awareness, can cut through the automatic mental loops that feed anxiety. Mindfulness in everyday life is a gentle but powerful remedy. You don't need to change your life circumstances, just how you show up to them. And little by little, you'll realize, peace doesn't exist out there, but in how you're living this very moment. There will be moments, even after practicing mindfulness, breathing, and self-compassion, when anxiety still rises strongly. That's normal and deeply human. The issue isn't whether anxiety shows up, but how you respond to it. The Buddha didn't teach us to eliminate emotions, but to respond to them with awareness. When you notice anxiety forming, your heart racing, hands shaking, mind spiraling, instead of running, simply pause. Ask yourself, what is my mind feeling? What is my body telling me? Can I hold this feeling instead of fighting it? That pause, even just a few seconds, creates a precious space where you can act instead of react. And in that space, peace begins to grow. Acting with awareness is true strength. Not because you have no emotions, but because your emotions no longer have you. One of the most powerful and accessible Buddhist practices for calming anxiety is observational meditation, watching your breath, emotions, and thoughts without judgment. This is not meditation to get rid of anxiety, but meditation to befriend it, to realize it is just a passing stream, not who you are. You can begin simply. Sit in a quiet place. Keep your back straight, shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. When anxious thoughts arise, don't push them away, just note, this is an anxious thought. Then gently return your attention to the breath. Over time, you'll notice that anxiety loses its power when not fueled by fear or resistance. You become the observer, no longer swept away by the emotional current. Observational meditation doesn't ask you to be good at it. It only asks you to be present. Just a few minutes a day, and you're already cultivating freedom from anxiety. From the inside out. Many people think meditation is just a technique to reduce stress, like taking a pill when you feel tired. But Buddhist meditation is not just a method, it is a way of life, a life rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and deep understanding of the self. When you make meditation a part of your daily living, it's no longer limited to a few quiet minutes each morning. It's present in how you eat, walk, work, even in moments of anxiety. Meditation becomes your breath, your rhythm of life. Anxiety then is no longer an enemy to fight, but a friend reminding you to return to the present. And with each return, you become more grounded, more whole. Meditation doesn't promise to erase all difficulties, but it changes the way you walk through them, with stillness, mindfulness, and deep compassion for yourself. You've journeyed with me through the landscape of anxiety, from understanding its roots, to learning how to apply meditation, mindfulness, and compassion to transform it. And now, perhaps you've discovered a profound truth: anxiety is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It teaches you to return to the present, to breathe, to listen to yourself, and most importantly, to love yourself, even in your most vulnerable moments. Buddhist wisdom doesn't promise a life without anxiety, but it offers something far more powerful: the inner capacity to meet any emotion with calm, clarity, and compassion. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to be perfect. Just begin, right here, right now, with one breath, one moment of non-judgmental awareness, and a gentle kindness toward yourself. Remember, you are not alone on this journey, and every time you return to yourself, you take one step closer to true inner peace.